King's Corner. Hope you all are having a slamming Saturday. And wow, am I excited to have football tomorrow. Whew. I mean, after that game on Thursday night, I'm the happiest I've been in a long time. I haven't been this happy in a while. I'm excited. I'm juiced up. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. I get to see my guy walk it to him once, go against the Washington football team. But before I get into the sports, I want to first say I apologize for not being able to make an episode last night. I got home late, tried making the episode, but I had some technical difficulties. If you're wondering what it was, I had to clear some storage on my phone. It took about an hour to do. I had to figure out how to do it. And by the time I got done with it, it was about 10, 11 o'clock at night. Sort of seemed a little late, so I put it on my Instagram, promised an episode a day, and they were going to get a Saturday special. So there's a couple things I want to talk about in today's episode. Obviously, I want to talk about what I saw in Thursday night's game between the Texans and Chiefs. I'm going to go through the playoffs, and then to finish off the show, I'm going to invent a new section into the show. Every Friday, I'm going to start doing a section called King's Bets. What that is I'm going to start going through 5 games that I pick, and I'm going to be going over the unders, the favorites, and who to bet on. So to start this out, I want to start in what I saw in Thursday night game. And my first observation was, crap. Somehow, some way, Pat Mahomes got better. And I'm not going to change anything off of one game, but I'm just going to say this. If he plays like that all season, he's past Russell Wilson to me. That's the best quarterback in the league. Because before, I don't know if some of you maybe not have watched that game, but the past 2 years, Mahomes has been the flashy guy. He's been the sports car. He drives up. He's that Lamborghini. He's like, whoo, you see that vehicle? Wow. You know, that very high gas price, very, very, very flashy. You love to see it. He only brings it out on special occasions, but it's beautiful. I mean, when you could be in your car, look over, you see a Lamborghini, you're like, wow. Whew. But now, what I saw Thursday night, he's like a Lamborghini, but now he's more efficient. He has better gas mileage. He's more efficient. He was surgical out there. I mean, he didn't have, if you watch the game live, he didn't pop off your screen as, oh my gosh. He wasn't the highlight reel, but he was probably the most efficient player on the field. I mean, he was 24-32, 3 touchdowns, no picks. He should have had 4 touchdowns. And Aldrick Robinson dropped 3 passes. So he really should have been 27-32, 4 touchdowns, which probably would have put him at a 96 QBR. He finished with a 90, but I mean, that's darn impressive. On a scale of 0 to 100, he scored a 90. Wow. But another observation I had in that game was that actually looked like a football game. That whole day, I was getting ready for, look, you're probably going to see something like preseason, not great tackling. I was like, okay. I'm not going to have my expectations very high. And then I turned the game on, and wow, it looked, felt, and seemed like a football game. And it was probably 3 minutes in, and my jaw was dropped. I was happy. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm just in a great mood. I love to have it back. Some other observations I had in that game. Bill O'Brien, what are you doing? What were you doing? The first quarter, you were running the ball very efficiently. Up and down, up and down, up and down. I mean, the first 2-3 drives, the Chiefs failed to stop David Johnson. And then you said after you guys went up 7-0, the same thing you did in the divisional round. How about we try and put the ball into Deshaun Watson's hands and we throw the ball for the rest of the game? What? Bill O'Brien, come on, man. I said it a couple weeks ago. I said it when I came back on Tuesday. You still make me wonder how you all have a job in the National Football League. I don't even think you deserve the job. In the Delaware High School Football League. That was horrible coaching. I think my baby brother could have went out there and had a better coaching performance than you did. I mean, that was just sad. Deshaun Watson. I was watching the sports shows that I love to watch, Undisputed, First Take, The Herd. They were all talking as if Deshaun Watson had a good game. They must have different televisions. I might have to go get a repairman on mine, but what were they watching? He was paid $40 million. I'm not giving him the same expectations I had when he was being paid $5 million. He's getting paid $40 million a year. I need to see $40 million profits. I need to see that they're getting the same in return what they're paying. And you know darn well that GM that paid him that, which was Bill O'Brien, he was having some buyer's remorse. He saw his performance on Thursday night. He was like, we gave that $40 million. Now, I know it's only one game, but Watson was holding on to the ball too long. Wasn't doing the check down very much. I mean, now there were 3 balls that should have been caught. He threw one, it was early first quarter, threw it to the right sideline. It was probably a 25 hitch route, 25 and corner route to Kenny Stills. Stills dropped it. He did another one to Fuller. Fuller dropped it. But it wasn't his receivers were down. They weren't dropping. But another thing I saw, people keep telling me Watson's better than Wentz. Watson's better than Wentz. Watson's better than Wentz. Well, he took DeAndre Hopkins away. Wentz has never had a DeAndre Hopkins. And you saw exactly what I've been saying for about a year and a half. You give Watson the weapons Wentz has, Watson doesn't perform. And I'd still say Watson's weapons are a heck of a lot better than Wentz's. But I got to see what Wentz does on Sunday. But I'm still expecting him to have a great game. And I don't want to hear the Chiefs' defense. That's not a great defense. They played good, but that's only because the Texans made them look good. Another observation, this is probably my last observation for that game. But I think probably the key difference in this game was Andy Reid had the Chiefs looking as if they just came off playing the Super Bowl last week. They were still in form. They didn't miss a beat. They were ready. They were hungry. The Texans came out there and they were like, first game of the season, who cares about this? Let's just go out and have fun. The Texans didn't show up. They were playing as if their names were the Houston football team. I don't know what they were doing. Deshaun Watson actually played a lot like Dak Prescott. He gets down big, and then he had garbage time stats. Watson played a very inefficient game. If I were to put grades on the quarterbacks for this game, Mahomes got 100, A+. I didn't see a mistake by him. Watson probably got a D-, F. Horrible game. Ugh. So next, I want to talk about the NBA playoffs. I don't know if you guys know this, but tomorrow's game 1 between the Heat and Celtics is going to be the first time in NBA history that the number 1 or number 2 seed will not be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's probably going to be one of the best series the East has had in a while. But after, hopefully, the Lakers win tonight and the Clippers win tomorrow night, we're all going to be watching that series. No offense to the Heat and the Celtics, but we're going to be watching that game as like a snack. They're like our Doritos. Like, imagine it's Thanksgiving Day. The Heat Celtics, they're like our Doritos. They're like our little snack. They're like the chips and dip. They're like they're the appetizer. The Clippers and Lakers, that's the Thanksgiving feast. That's like I cannot wait. They're like the turkey, the rolls, the mashed potatoes, the macaroni and cheese. It's the entree. It's like It's like that's the NBA Finals right there. I don't care who wins the Heat Celtics. Neither of them stand a chance against the Lakers or the Clippers. No offense to them, but LeBron's owned them both for the last 15 plus years. Kawhi Leonard owned them both last year. It's sad to say, but neither of them stand a chance. It's going to be an entertaining series between the both of them, but they don't have a chance in the finals. Tonight's game between the Lakers and Rockets, Lakers are winning. I had that prediction. The reason is when James Harden's in an elimination game, he doesn't show up. I don't want to hear he played great defense in Game 7 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. You should have won that game, man. It's you and Westbrook and a bunch of shooters versus Chris Paul and the nobodies. I don't know how you guys went to 7. You guys won Game 1 and everyone was ready to say the world's ending. The Lakers are losing round 2. Same thing happened with the Trailblazer series. The Lakers lost Game 1. Trailblazers are sweeping the Lakers. Lakers lost Game 1 of the Rockets series. Rockets are sweeping the Lakers. But LeBron's done this his whole career. Game 1's his feel-out game. If he beats you Game 1, you're screwed. But it's usually his feel-out game. Game 2, if he beats you, and he beats you very, very confidently, you're not winning this series. And LeBron and AD in both Game 2s realized one thing. They're too small. And the reason the Rockets aren't working, it's a main reason, and here's what it is. They're playing small ball in a tall man's game. And I know what you're saying. What? It's a shooting man's game now. All right, the smallest, and here's what I'm trying to say. The smallest person to win Finals MVP in the last 25 years was Kobe Bryant, and he was 6'6". Is 6'6" small? No. It's actually pretty tall. But if you look at the past decade, the smallest person to win Finals MVP, Kawhi Leonard. Oh, no, my bad. Andre Iguodala, 6'7". That's not small. Small people don't do good in the finals. And I know what you're going to say. Steph Curry. Steph Curry needed Kevin Durant to ever be efficient in the finals, let alone good. I've never seen Steph Curry have a great game in the NBA Finals until KD came along. It's going to be very entertaining to see what happens tonight between the Lakers and Rockets. The Rockets are too small. All the Lakers have to do on each possession is give the ball to the AD, and they're not stopping him. Or if LeBron wants to, he drives to the basket, has a layup every single time. Now, I heard somebody say the other day, Eddie House, they need Eddie House. Eddie House isn't even known probably in 75% of homes in America. If you don't live in Houston, you don't know him. And that's sad to say, but you really don't. But as I was saying, the Rockets don't really stand a chance in this series. Even if they win tonight, they're going down in Game 6. But the last playoff game I'm going to recap, last night's Game 7 between the Celtics and Raptors. I don't know what the Raptors were doing down the stretch. I know they made it a close game, but why would you put Kyle Lowry in a situation to get fouled out? He's your closer. I don't know why you would trust Fred VanVleet making that shot at the end. What evidence do you have outside of the regular season? Because I have 7 years of experience with Kyle Lowry. He'll make that shot. But I guess the Raptors were ready to lose, and the Celtics are now going up to the Eastern Conference Finals. And it's the first time the Heat and Celtics have played in the Eastern Conference Finals since 2012. And I cannot wait. But let me move on to the section I said's new, Kings Bets. And the first game I want to cover is the Packers at Vikings. So the Vikings are favored at 2.5, and the over-under is 45. So first, if you're betting this game, on the over-under, take the under. I know I said the Texans and Chiefs, very effective game, but I just think that's just because Andy Reid's a terrific head coach. I think a lot more teams, probably 75% of the league's going to look a lot more like the Texans than the Chiefs, especially this Packers at Vikings game. But if I'm betting on this game, I'd take the under, because actually the last 4 games they've had have been they've been under 45 points. Actually, the last 4 games, the Packers and Vikings have split. But the reason, so I'm going to take the Packers to cover, and I got the Packers winning this game. But the reason is, I don't know if you guys know this, but the best team on opening day in the history of the NFL, the Packers. In the last, I want to say it was the last 64 years, they're 57-5-1. I might be missing a couple numbers, but they have 57 wins. Only 2 of those opening day losses have come under Aaron Rodgers. The Packers do not lose opening day. Kirk Cousins, on the other hand, loses a lot on opening day. He's not very good opening day weekend. This is why I'm sort of leaning toward the Packers. I think Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers year two, who I cannot wait to see this. Gary Kubiak, though, is going to be a lot like Kevin Stefanski. A lot of play action, a lot of runs, so it's going to be interesting to see. The Vikings, though, are going to try and utilize Dalvin Cook, the new $63 million man. Congratulations on the deal, sir. But I got the Packers winning this game 24-20. So to recap that betting, I got bet the under, the 45 bet under, and I'd say the Packers covered -2.5. The next game I want to cover, Browns at Ravens. The over-under is 48, and the Ravens are favored by 7.5. Now, this is going to be one of the few games I'd actually say the favorite team covers the score and probably blows out the team. But that's just because in this situation that we're in, the 2020 offseason, defenses didn't get a lot of time to learn their defense. So they're going to be playing a lot more basic defense. So what's that mean? What that means is we're going to be getting the best out of every single player. So think Pat Mahomes on steroids. Think Lamar Jackson on steroids. Russell Wilson on steroids. If you don't achieve greatness in 2020, I'm going to be kind of shocked. Now, I could be wrong, and defenses are a lot more diverse, harder to read. I mean, it is the NFL, but I'll be shocked if it's not as basic as I think it will be, especially the first 4 to 5 weeks. The Ravens are going to win this game. I'd say take the under again on the 48. The Browns and Ravens, they both have a lot of firepower, but it's early in the season. Didn't have a full off season. They're not going to have a lot of time to really get their offense in. The Ravens did, but the Browns didn't. The Ravens cover it. They're going to get past negative. They're going to get past 7.5. The Browns still learning. I say the Browns season really doesn't start till week 2, Thursday Night Football against the Bengals. No offense to the Browns, but the Ravens are mad. And if you're wondering why I say the Ravens are mad, not only are they coming, their last game they played, they lost to the Titans, but before that Titans loss, the last game the Ravens lost was to the Browns. They're not happy about that. They're still mad about that loss. Now, even though they avenged that loss later on in the season last year, they want to start this season off beating the Browns. And Lamar Jackson looks hungrier, angrier, and more motivated this year. And he was really motivated last year. Marquise Brown gained 15 to 25 pounds of muscle. And he kept his speed. That's something to keep an eye on. And the Ravens added a pass rush. And one of the weaknesses the Browns have is O-line. The Browns and Ravens game, I'm going to keep an eye on it, but I'm really going to be mostly watching the other games. I think this is going to be a blowout. Ravens are going to win this game 32-14. So to recap this game, take the under again. The over-under is 48. Ravens are covering the 7.5. They're winning this game 32-14. The next game I'm going to cover, Chargers at Bengals. This game's going to shock a lot of people. Some people are going into this weekend saying, Chargers are going to blow out the Bengals. Chargers are favored by 3. The over-under is 42. But if I had to bet on this game, I'd actually take the Bengals to cover. Bet the under on the 42, but I also have the Bengals covering. The reason is Joe Burrow's starting to change my mind. I don't know if you guys watched my Wednesday episode. It might have been my Thursday episode when I did my predictions, but I said I'm not very high on Joe Burrow. But then I got a little bit of criticism. Some people DM'd me on my Instagram saying I was crazy. I need to go back and look. So I did. I went reading through stories, and then I saw a couple things. Joe Burrow is a lot more impressive than I've been giving him credit for. And I know I shouldn't be switching my opinion that quick, but there was too much data there that was saying, hey, he's going to be a success rather than a bust. You could see Baker Mayfield was going to bust. I said Baker Mayfield was going to be a bust probably right when the Browns drafted him. And I'm not saying Baker Mayfield's the worst bust to ever exist. He's not. But he's just not number 1 overall pick material. And you can tell it because when Colin Cowherd, right before the draft, started punching at Baker Mayfield, Mayfield felt insecure. He was scared. He was like, this guy's got a beat on me. So he started punching back. He started hitting. He tried getting Cowherd back with some haymakers. That's not a quarterback. If I'm drafting a team, if I'm in control of a team, I don't want that for my quarterback. I want my quarterback to be the face of my franchise, not some spoiled little brat that wants to go around and say, "Whoop de doo, I was the first overall pick." No, that's not my quarterback. Baker, get out of here. Joe Burrow, though, the reason I brought Baker up was Colin Cowherd again, was punching, jabbing at Joe Burrow. What's Burrow do? The exact opposite of Baker Mayfield. Joe Burrow is a grown up. He was going around, he was saying, he was retweeting Colin Cowherd. He was saying, "Okay, Colin Cowherd, thank you." And what he was doing was he's listening to the criticism and he's putting it away in his piggy bank. He's taking that for motivation. Baker Mayfield was taking that as offensive. Joe Burrow was like, "All right, I got a couple things I got to work on. Let me do this, this, and this." And Joe Burrow the other day in practice went 6 of 6, 74 yards, and a touchdown against the defense. But I'll tell you what had me most impressive. Who cares about the 6 for 6, 74 yards, and a touchdown? I mean, that's impressive. But the thing that had me most impressed was he was already in tune with his teammates. They said he's been doing this pretty much all camp. So that means right when he was drafted, he got a hold of his weapons. And the Bengals don't have the worst weapons in the world. Their skill position players are probably top 10. I mean, when they're healthy, they're top 10. Now, the key word there, when healthy. Their skill position players are kind of injury prone. They got AJ Green, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, John Ross, Joe Mixon, Giovanni Bernard. Their tight ends, they're sort of questionable, but they can still produce. The only weakness about the team, which is why I don't have them winning more than 5 games, is their O-line and their defense. But he has weapons. I think this week, though, they're going to shock a lot of people. I'm not saying they're going to win because I don't have them winning. But I think it's going to be a very close game, very fun to watch. The reason I say I have the Bengals covering, though, is the Chargers lost the voice of their defense. Derwin James is gone. He's pretty much done for the year. And I don't know if you guys saw it last year versus 2018, but 2019 versus 2018 for the Chargers was 2 totally different defenses. And I know they got Chris Harris, but Chris Harris isn't a voice of a defense. He's not that guy that you can put on his shoulders and be like, "Let's go." That's not Chris Harris. Chris Harris is a guy that just likes to do his job. Derwin James, on the other hand, he's the guy that likes to get everybody on his back and say, "Let's go." And the Chargers in 2019 didn't have that guy, and they struggled on defense. The 2018 Chargers had that, and they were one of the best, most exciting defenses to watch. And the Chargers, again, don't have Derwin James. I mean, they're going to keep the Bengals probably down to about 20, 21 points. But I think the Bengals defense will keep the Chargers down to 21. And the reason I have that is the only good part about the Bengals defense is their pass rush. What's the weakness about the Chargers offense? The row line. Especially week 1. Tyrod Taylor hasn't played in 2 years. And Tyrod Taylor usually early in the year struggles. He usually gets in the better rhythm at the end of the year. You could see it in Buffalo. Usually Tyrod Taylor hits his strides week 7 through week 9, and then he goes through the postseason. Tyrod Taylor is not a very good guy at the beginning of the year. And we saw this in Cleveland 2 years ago. And I think that Cleveland team had about as much talent as this Chargers team on offense. I mean, granted, they didn't have a Hunter Henry or a Keenan Allen, but they had a Jarvis Landry and a David Njoku. But to recap this game, I got the Bengals covering. So I take the Bengals to cover, but I still have the Chargers winning 21-20 and vote the under. Now, my next game, which is my game of the week along with everybody else's, Bucks at Saints. The over-under is 48, and the Saints are favored by 3.5. This is going to be the only game all weekend that I take the over on. And the reason is these 2 offenses are just too overpowered, too high-powered offenses that if they don't score a lot of points, we're all going to be shocked. Both have a weakness on their defense. The Saints more than the Bucks. The Saints have a questionable secondary, I guess you could say. Malcolm Jenkins, Marshawn Lattimore, but outside of that, it's like, who? But the over-under for this game, 48, I say take the over. I'd say the Saints cover the 3.5, but I say slightly. This is going to be a very entertaining game. And in the first quarter, we're going to see sort of how this game's going to go. And the reason I say that is Tristan Wirfs, right tackle out of Iowa, first round pick, is making his NFL debut. And it would have been great to have this debut against any other team. But he's going against Cameron Jordan, the best 4-3 edge rusher in the game. And there's a trend with older quarterbacks. They hate getting hit. And you can tell this with Cam Newton. You saw it last night a little bit with Mahomes, Rodgers, Breeze, Rivers. A lot of the quarterbacks that are in the league for 5+ years, they don't like taking hits as much. And the reason is their bodies don't heal as fast anymore. When they're 22, 23, 24, 25, they can take the hits all day because they're only hurt for about a day or two. When you're getting up there in age and you're getting hit repeatedly, you're injured pretty much the whole week. You're banged up, you're sore, which means you're going into next game week a little sore. And the last thing Brady wants to do is go into week 2 with a sore body against I forget who the Buccaneers play week 2, but he doesn't want to be playing week 2 injured. He wants to play fully efficient so he can still get a hold on this offense because he's still learning. And that's weird to say for Tom Brady. But the Saints are going to win this game. And the reason I say that is the Saints have the same coach and quarterback. Sean Payton, Drew Brees have been together since 2006. Bruce Arians and Tom Brady haven't even played a preseason game together. And you think they're going to win this game? The Bucks probably will end up winning the game later on in the year. But because it's one in New Orleans, then they're going to be pumping fan noise in, like a lot of the stadiums. And the Bucks' first game with Brady, and Mike Evans might not play, and we got to see if Cam Jordan's chasing Tom Brady around or not. I have the Saints winning this game 35-31. This is going to be probably the most entertaining game of the weekend. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, high-powered. It's going to be a lot like that Super Bowl 52 between the Eagles and Patriots. Fun, efficient, and then there's going to be that one defensive play that sneaks up on you and wins the game. So to recap that game, I say the over-under is 48, and I say take the over. The Saints are favored 3.5. Take the Saints to cover it. The last game of the weekend that I have taking the bets on, I'll be predicting Monday Night Football on Monday, but the game I have here, Cowboys at Rams. Now, the Cowboys are favored by 3.5, and the over-under is 51.5. Of course, you know me, that's an under easily. I have the Rams covering the spread and winning this game. And the reason is, people want to say this. Mike McCarthy is this new flashy head coach. The Cowboys have a head coach. What are you talking about? I got to see it to believe it first. And the reason is, the last time we saw Mike McCarthy, he got beat by Steve Wilkes and Josh Rosen, both of which aren't even on an active NFL roster as we speak. What's that say? Mike McCarthy hasn't developed since he's came in. His first 10 years, let's go, Mike McCarthy. His last 2 years, he was stale, easily predicted, knew what he was going to do. The Rams, on the other hand, they got Sean McVay. Sean McVay, since coming into the league, has been the best coach on opening day. Jared Goff's been the best quarterback on opening day. And the Rams' defense has been the best defense on opening day. Since Sean McVay has come in, the Rams are averaging 37 points on opening day. Think about that. 37 points. But that's with a normal offseason. They're still, they have the same offense, which is going to make it a little easier for them. But it's still going to be a little complicated. The Cowboys, though, I know we keep hearing they're running the same offense, that Mike McCarthy's going to learn that offense. And that might be true, but it's probably a little bit of both. Mike McCarthy's putting his intake on the offense, and he's learning the old Cowboys offense as well, so he's going to combine the two. The Cowboys are going to be very similar. Their defense, I keep hearing Dallas Cowboys fans everywhere. Our defense is top 5. Our defense is top 5. Our defense is top 5. No, it's not. What? You got a great linebacker core. I get it. Your defensive line, whoop-de-doo. You got Everson Griffiths and D-Law. Who else? Nobody. I don't want to hear Don Terry Poe. Last time Don Terry Poe was good, I was a sixth grader in middle school. The Cowboys linebacking core, as I said, is great. Sean Lee, though, is missing a game, which could be, he's been injured the last 3 years, but still could be detrimental. Their cornerbacks and safety core is probably arguably one of the worst in the league. They're starting to get advantages from the Eagles the last 3 years. Let's have a great D-line linebacking core. Secondary, who cares? And the reason I have the Rams winning this game, the Cowboys have nobody that can cover Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, and Robert Woods. They're going to march the floor with the Cowboys. It's going to be sad to watch. But it's going to be a close game because I think the Cowboys will just have the ball long enough to keep it close. But I think the Rams end up winning this game 27-24. It's going to be a very entertaining weekend of football. But to recap the Cowboys at Rams, the over-under was 51.5. Take the under. And the Cowboys were favored by 3. Take the Rams to cover that. But I don't know if you guys agree with me, but thank God football's back. Because we all know there's one sport that's just different than everything else. And that's football. And wow, does it feel good to say that. If you asked me this 2 months ago and you said, the NFL season's happening, I would have said, yes, it's happening. But deep down, I really would have been, nah, I doubt it. It's not happening. But now it's happening. I hope you all are excited as I am. This weekend's going to be entertaining. Sunday tomorrow is going to be amazing to watch. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your Saturday, and I hope you all enjoy your Sunday. Thank you. Have a nice day.